In 2015, Mitchell Blair, a 35-year-old mother from Detroit, was evicted from her home. She lived with her 4 children, but struggled financially and often sought financial help from relatives. The eviction process revealed a grim scene when the crew attempted to remove a freezer from Blair's home, discovering the bodies of 2 children inside. Inside the freezer, a teenage girl and a young boy were found frozen, wrapped in plastic and a blanket, respectively. This discovery shocked the local community and law enforcement. The children were soon identified as Blair's own kids, Stephen Barry and Stoney Blair, who had been missing from public view. Blair was located at a neighbor's house with her 2 other children. Upon being found, she confessed to the murders of Stephen and Stoney. She was arrested, and during transport, Blair mentioned that the act was evil, but she was not, highlighting a distinction in her perception of the events. The bodies required 3 days to thaw before autopsies could be conducted, eventually confirming the identities and establishing the cause of death as homicides from blunt force trauma. The autopsies revealed that both children suffered thermal injuries, and they had been deceased since 2012 and 2013, making the freezer their tomb for over 2 years. In court, Blair confessed, claiming she killed her children because she believed they were sexually abusing her youngest son, a claim that was never proven. Blair described discovering her son imitating sexual acts with toys, which triggered a brutal and fatal response from her toward Stephen after he allegedly confessed to the abuse. Blair's method of murder was torturous and prolonged, involving physical beatings, poisoning, asphyxiation, and thermal injuries which eventually led to Stephen's death. 9 months after Stephen's death, Blair killed her daughter Stoney under the belief she too had abused her youngest son, despite his initial denials. Blair expressed no remorse in court, stating she felt she had no other option but to kill her children, whom she referred to as demons. After the murders, Blair managed to maintain a facade of normalcy, misleading neighbors about her children's whereabouts. Evidence and testimonies later showed there was no proof of the alleged sexual abuse, and Blair's notions of the assaults were deemed unfounded. Blair's daughter Gabi described her mother as a volatile individual who could be triggered by the slightest stressors. In 2015, Blair pleaded guilty to the murders and received a life sentence without parole, and her remaining children were placed with a relative and continued their education and therapy. Gabi recalled the constant fear and trauma of living in a house where her siblings' bodies were hidden in the freezer, describing the psychological torment of associating everyday activities with the chilling storage. Despite the ongoing abuse, Gabi was constantly aware of the threat her mother posed, fearing she could be the next victim. In her final court statement, Blair expressed no regret, framing her actions as a response to the unproven assaults on her son, maintaining her stance that her actions, while drastic, were justified.